9 weddings that ended in tragedy. First one. The Brazilian bride who died in a helicopter crash on the way to her wedding. In December 2016, a Brazilian bride's surprise entrance to her wedding went tragically wrong when the helicopter she was in crashed minutes before she was due to tie the knot. Rosemary Silva Nascimento, who was wearing her wedding dress and veil, died instantly along with 3 others. The 32-year-old nurse planned to amaze her fiancé, utterly Narcs Damasceno, 34, and the 300 guests with a stunning entrance by flying to São Lourenço da Serra, a wealthy suburb of São Paulo, in a chopper. The groom was in a state of shock at the altar as he was told his bride had died. In addition to Rosemary, the other victims included her brother, Silvano Nascimento da Silva, who had been very excited about the plan, the wedding photographer, Neila Cristina Neves Lusada, who was 6 months pregnant, and Peterson Pinheiro, the pilot. Number 2. The mother of the bride who was killed when a tree fell on the wedding party. A U.S. wedding turned deadly in December 2016 after a eucalyptus tree in a Southern California park collapsed on the bridal party posing for photos. A woman believed to be the mother of the bride was killed, and 5 people were injured. Witness Gilbert Duran was attending a girl's 15th birthday party in the park when the tree fell. Moments before the tree toppled, he and some friends had been taking pictures underneath it, but moved for better light. Number 3. The 20 wedding guests who died after the dance floor collapsed. At least 20 people were killed and hundreds injured at a party of marriage in Jerusalem in 2001 after the dance floor collapsed. Guests were left clinging to the walls of the Versailles wedding hall when the 3rd floor suddenly gave way and crashed through 2 stores below. There were nearly 700 guests in the building, which was in the industrial Talpiot area of Jerusalem. 23 people fell to their deaths through 2 stories, including the groom's 80-year-old grandfather and his 3-year-old second cousin, the youngest victim. Another 380 were injured, including bride, who suffered severe pelvic injuries. Number 4. The father of the bride who died moments after dancing with his daughter at her wedding. A father dropped dead of a heart attack just moments after finishing the first dance with his daughter at her wedding. Tim Buchanan, 54, was at Michelle Howard's nuptials in Costa Rica when the tragedy happened, along with his wife and her mother Jenny. Number 5. The 51 wedding guests who were killed by a suicide bomber. This is the haunting image of a mass grave dug for some of the 51 guests who were killed while dancing at a wedding in Gaziantep, Turkey. The killer, who wore an explosive belt, was between 12 to 14 years old. It was Turkey's deadliest bombing of 2016. 12 people were buried the day after the attack, but other funerals had to wait because many of the victims were blown to pieces, and DNA was the only way to identify them. Number 6. The father who died in plane crash while flying over his daughter's wedding reception. Not all surprises go as planned. In July 2015, A day of celebration quickly turned tragic when an Alaskan man, performing a surprise flyover at his daughter's wedding reception, died when his plane crashed. Michael Zagula, 54, had performed the ceremony earlier at his daughter's wedding to a man he is said to have treated like a son. About half the town of Trapper Creek, Alaska, some 120 miles north of Anchorage, was at the reception. Zagula posed for photographs with the happy couple at the cake cutting before slipping away. About 20 minutes later his plane was flying over, and he loved to fly, so he wanted to do something special for the kids, Klondike Hughes, a friend of Zagula's, said. Zagula flew over the party, but as he was returning, he clipped some trees and lost control of the aircraft. Many of the guests either witnessed or heard the crash. Number 7. The bride who drowned during her wedding photo shoot. In 2012, a woman taking part in a Trash the Dress wedding photo shoot drowned after being pulled underwater by the weight of her wedding gown while snapping pictures in a river near Darwin Falls in Quebec. Photographer Louis Pagakis said 30-year-old Maria Pontezopoulos entered the Ero River in her wedding dress, so she could have her picture taken in the style of wedding photography, meant to symbolize that permanence of the marriage. But the dress quickly became saturated, and the weight of it was simply too much for the 100-pound Pontezopoulos, who began to sink to the bottom. The photographer and a witness tried to save her but were unsuccessful. A scuba diver later found Pontezopoulos' body at the lower part of a nearby stagnant pool of water. Number 8. The women who died after the wedding limo caught fire. In 2013, 9 women in a limo, including the bride-to-be, were trapped in a tragic fire that started burning just as the car was crossing the San Mateo Hayward Bridge, near San Francisco. 5 of the women were burnt alive, including Philomena Gironga, Jennifer Ballon, 39, of Dublin, Michelle Estrella, 35, of Fresno, Ana Alcantara, 46, of San Lorenzo, and bride Noriza Foyas, 31, of Monterey. They were headed to a party in Foster City to celebrate Foyas' nuptials when the blaze started. Number 9. A woman was killed, and 4 people were injured by rogue bullets during a wedding celebration. Celebratory gunfire during a marriage ceremony in India went horribly wrong when 1 guest was killed, and 4 others were injured. The dramatic incident took place at Savitri Marriage Hall, in Karnal District, Haryana, Northern India, in November 2016. Wedding guests started firing shots into the air soon after the ceremony to celebrate, which is a tradition. The party, however, soon turned tragic when guest Sunita, 48, was accidentally shot in the chest and died later in hospital. 4 other guests were injured, including an 11-year-old girl, and they were all rushed to a nearby hospital in a critical condition. Don't forget like, share, and subscribing me.